New York City is just hours away from my home in Syracuse and has many great hospitals. But when my doctor couldn't treat my reoccurring abdominal pain, he sent me 800 miles away to the experts at Aurora, St. Luke's. I kept having a severe abdominal pain, and I would go to the ER and they would do some tests and keep me there a little bit, and nobody could really pinpoint exactly what was wrong with me. And I was in and out of the hospital for at least 10 to 15 times. I missed my 2-year-old's birthday because I was in the hospital. I was jaundiced, my skin turns yellow, and the whites of your eyes turn yellow, and you just feel awful. You feel like you have a horrible flu and you have excruciating pain. Nobody could understand what it was that I had, and it was to the point where everybody looked at me like I just might be crazy. And I just needed somebody to validate that there was something really wrong with me. And in order for me to have my life back, to be independent, care for my kids, and take care of my family, I needed to find that solution. We traveled over 800 miles because we were desperate. We were in dire need of somebody to tell us that, first of all, what I had was real, and that, there was maybe a solution to it. I wanted to be able to just be in my own area and have things taken care of, but at that point, we were so willing to do whatever and travel wherever we needed to have somebody give me a solution or a diagnosis that, and to validate me just as a person, that I wasn't crazy and that this truly happens. I felt hopeless, I felt defeated, and I felt like I was losing, the one thing that I prided myself on, which was being a mom and taking care of my family. Once we got to Aurora, St. Luke's, it was amazing. Dr. Caterina came in right before, introduced himself to me. He walked in and he had an amazing confidence about himself. He was kind, he was very real and human. He didn't look down at me for, being sick all this time and, having to be in and out of the hospital. He didn't look at me like I was crazy, but he shook Stephen's hand and he gave him a reassurance that, we're going to try to figure out what this is. They answered all my questions, they returned my phone calls, they treated me with some dignity, and they acted like I was somebody that mattered. I was just overwhelmed that they took care of me as a patient, which is what you have an expectation for a hospital to do, but they also took care of my husband, who was there with me. It ended up being pancreatic disease. It's just one of the few hospitals in the country that can perform unique procedures to treat pancreatic disease like mine. He said, look, this is what I found out. There is some pancreatic disease, there is some stuff going on, and you know what? Our game plan is this. I'm going to try to treat it this way. If I can't do it this way, I'm going to do this, this, and this. He had a plan, he had a solution, he had a confidence, and he had a knowledge of what was going on that was just, it was refreshing. That actual surgery was called sphincteroplasty. And they open up, they take out the stomach, and they go to the pancreas, and the bile duct right there, they cut it open and they stitch it open so that it won't spasm anymore. And since then, life has gotten a lot better. My job was to be mom. My job was to be wife, and I wasn't able to do that through that time. Going to Aurora, St. Luke's, I got that back. To have a facility like that in my hometown would be such a blessing. They validated us as people, they validated me as a patient, and even as a mom, that what I was feeling was real, and I wasn't crazy, and we're gonna treat you like you're at home. We're gonna take care of you, and we're gonna meet the needs that you have. They addressed my health need, they addressed emotionally where I was at, that I was so far away, and they had just an understanding, a compassion, a kindness that I haven't seen anywhere else. Life is very much back to living, and I'm very grateful for that doctor in Syracuse to give me that referral to Milwaukee. It's an amazing place, and I would recommend anybody to go there, whether they were local or traveling.